Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Obsessive Compulsive Gaming. I am the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, and this is my review for YAKUZA KIWAMI 3 and Dark Bow Ties. No, sorry, Dark Ties. So dear viewers, this particular game released rather recently, and just like that beautiful bearded bastard Barry Bertrum, you're probably wondering,
what is this?
YAKUZA KIWAMI 3 is a remake of 2009's Yakuza 3. And for those of you who don't know, the Yakuza series is a series of action-adventure beat-em-up type video game thingamajigs developed and published by Sega. And let me just say, dear viewers, that the Yakuza series is probably, in terms of quality, the single most consistent series of video games I think I've ever played. So much so that I don't think there's a bad video game in this entire series. And yes, that even includes the spin-off games. And yes, it even includes that weird game in which we fight zombies. But how is YAKUZA KIWAMI 3? Well, the only way we're going to answer that question is to review this bloody video game. The only way I know how. Badly. And let's start with what I absolutely love about YAKUZA KIWAMI 3. This being a remake, I just think it's right to begin with visuals. Unlike recent remakes like Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater Delta and the Silent Hill 2 remake, this game has evolved its graphics rather splendidly. Another thing I absolutely adore is that unlike the original game, this version of Yakuza 3 features a full English voice-acted dub, which I know won't appeal to everyone, but being able to play through the events of Yakuza 3 and hear all of the characters voice acted by some very talented English voice actors, as opposed to just experiencing the original, fantastic Japanese dub, was great. A special shout out to Yong-Ya, who's been playing the role of Kiryu in the English dubs of these games for the last few years, and while I was initially hesitant when they announced the casting, really? That Metal Gear Solid YouTuber that I enjoy watching? He's going to play Kiryu instead of Sega reaching out and asking me? I don't bloody think so. But I think he's actually settled into the role quite well. And I was very impressed with one of the more emotional scenes in this game, which happens to be a scene that actually made me cry this time. Good job, Yong-Ya. But seriously, Sega, if you want to replace him with me, my calendar is open. Oh, that reminds me. Got the gynecologist at 12 on Thursday. Gotta take Bertrum for his hysterectomy on Friday. And, oh, sorry about that, dear viewers. What was I saying? Oh, yes. So visuals, splendid. Voice acting, splendid. I don't know whether they rescored or remastered the soundtrack from the original game here, but the soundtrack, just like it is in all the other Yakuza games, is absolutely fantastic and does an amazing job of making all the boss fights in this game feel truly epic. Speaking of the boss fights, another thing I absolutely adore about this game is its gameplay. When you're not running around the bustling streets of Okinawa or Tokyo doing fetch quests and zany side quests, you'll of course be engaging in combat. Like all the other entries in the Yakuza series, the combat here is absolutely fabulous. Be that in Kiwami 3 when we play as Kazuma Kiryu, or be it the separate game which is included here in which we play as Mine. No, it's definitely Mine. And that reminds me, if you think this is just going to be a pretty straightforward beat-for-beat remake of the original game, then you will be very much mistaken, dear viewers. This is fundamentally the same exact story, but the developers have changed up a couple of things here, most notably the game's ending, which of course I'm not going to spoil here, but let's just say it gives me a kind of good idea where they're going to go in the next mainline Yakuza entry. And even though they changed it, it still actually works for the events of Yakuza 4, Yakuza 5, Yakuza 6, and so on and so forth. Oh damn, I haven't even spoken about the game's story yet. How can I somehow discuss the game's ending without discussing the bloody main game's story? Basically, like a lot of the other Yakuza games, this game's story is all about Kazuma Kiryu fighting to protect those he cares about most. And in this game, that basically involves him from protecting an orphanage in Okinawa, in which Kiryu has found himself living with a whole load of children. And yes, that does sound quite creepy, but I can assure you, dear viewers, it absolutely is not. But like all the other Yakuza games, this game's story features more twists and turns than you'd find in a bloody roller coaster. More emotional scenes that you would witness even in bloody Titanic. And more beat-em-up action than you would usually find in your usual Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. To put it simply, it's absolutely fantastic. And you can apply all of these compliments. Sort of weird when I said compliments there. You can apply all of those same compliments to the other game included here, Dark Ties, which acts as a kind of, sort of prequel to the events of Yakuza 3. And if it didn't spoil the ending of Yakuza 3, then I would definitely recommend that you play Dark Ties first, before playing Kiwami 3. But no, just hold off until you finish Kiwami 3, then play Dark Ties. Honestly, dear viewers, I can't say enough good things about this game. This is an incredible series, and Yakuza 3, or as it's now known, Yakuza Kiwami 3, is another fantastic entry in this series. Therefore, I declare that Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties is splendid. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, another review by yours truly. If you enjoyed this little review of mine, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't enjoyed it, well then feel free to give me a thumbs down. But please remember the single most important thing I always tell you, dear viewer, and that is to always stay obsessed with gaming. Are you still here? Oh. You must have really enjoyed this video then. In that case, you had better subscribe to the channel and check out our other content. Otherwise, you're a booby pants, and no one wants to be a booby pants.